There are many women, as you say, Rebecca, standing up saying, I'm a feminist.
Of all ages too, it's very exciting.
I want equality and that's what I stand for. But there are also lots, celebrities included, saying, actually, I don't want to be described as a feminist. I see that as divisive. Okay.
Well, feminism, like any other ism, like Marxism or liberalism, has to be taken as a political movement. So it isn't the case that if you believe in equality between men and women, you're automatically a feminist. You have to look at their policies and who their leaders are. And at the moment, I think it's one of the most divisive and exclusionary groups out there. Just look at feminism in London, a big conference being held in London in a few weeks' time. They have no platform, some very serious feminist thinkers, because they don't fit into a very specific mold of feminism. Perhaps because they distinguish between women and transgender people, or because they are pro-pornography. Lots of different reasons, but they don't actually want to bring these women together to discuss women's issues. They want to exclude them, and they only want to have a very specific platform that the most women, truly most women, just can't fit into.
Susan Sarandon, Meryl Streep, Marion Cotillard all talked about themselves as not wanting to describe themselves as feminists. They talked about themselves being humanists, and there was a huge backlash, particularly to Marion Cotillard, wasn't there, by those saying, well, how can you say you're not a feminist?
I think it's been very difficult for a long time. There's been a lot of PR against this whole idea that, you know, you won't be considered attractive or you'll be considered too radical to be taken seriously. One of the things I'm excited about is that's changing, and I agree with you about the Feminism in London conference. It's one example of many of women organising a whole manner of different events that actually are radicalising and including women of all different backgrounds. One of the beauties of feminism is that it's grassroots. The whole point is you don't necessarily have to have, and in fact probably shouldn't have, a hierarchical structure or one leader.
Then why are they censoring prominent feminists?
Well, I think you can't take one conference and say, this is, I want it run this way.
Julie Bindel, for example. Julie Bindel is a great example of a feminist who's been very active and very outspoken, and she's banned from conferences around the country.
She's a fan. I'm a big fan of Julie Bindel, and I've been involved in running Weekend and Night, and we've had her speak for us many times. You can't take, what you have to do is go, look at all the amazing stuff that's going on. Some people are speaking at different ones because of different politics, of course, but that's because the movement is broad. You can't have an agreement amongst 50% of the population. It's just not going to happen. What you can have is debate, and you can have people who, like Julie, who are going to be absolutely right for one crowd, who are going to divide others, but that's the beauty of feminism. It allows us to actually grow and learn together. It's an evolution.
I think you've actually hit the nail on the head about why women aren't associating as feminists, because you're right.
I didn't say that.
It's very well. It's like you said. It's very difficult to get 50% or more of the population to agree to one thing, and feminism is political. And at the moment, it's the arm of a left-wing ideology. They're calling for anti-austerity. They're calling for things that a lot of more conservative women, more libertarian women, more independent thinkers just can't fit into.
But people like Beyonce, I would totally disagree with you. I actually do think austerity hits women hard. I think a lot of women who are traditionally not necessarily part of the movement are noticing that and coming towards like an awakening on many levels because they've been treated so badly. But you've also got conservative feminists of huge status like Beyonce, who's very much about, I can have as much money as men, I can take as much space.
Beyonce isn't conservative.
But then we've heard from the stars of the films, Hollywood stars saying, Emily Blunt, for example, Patricia Arquette saying, no, this isn't right. We are not getting paid the same. We're not getting paid the same. There aren't female directors.
This is my
financiers saying, we will give you the money.
Is just doing a huge thing at the BFI this week about her institute trying to change these things.
This is the number one reason that I personally can't associate with feminism, because especially in the West, what feminism is attacking is not violence on women and not violence on women across the globe. It's focusing on things like the gender pay gap, which the Office of National Statistics has proven is not true for women between the ages of 20 and 40. It's focusing
the gender pay gap is just under 10%, isn't it? 9.4%.
If you start taking in the reasons why there's a gender pay gap, like women choosing to work less hours and women choosing to take time off, and the pay gap basically disappears. And lots of feminists like to say, well, we need to protect women because women aren't capable of making their own choices. They're not. Yes, they are. They're saying we're not capable of choosing to take the same route that some of our male counterparts are. In which case women are actually more likely to be promoted and more likely to make more money. But a lot of feminists say if you don't fit into that very particular field where you can't make other choices, then we don't want to accept you. We're going to no platform you. And you know, there was a time.
It's very strange that you are lumping like quite specific things into all feminism. It's like you're doing exactly what you're accusing feminists of doing. You're saying, well, blanketly, all feminists do this. I mean, actually, as I was saying,
never said all feminists do that, but I'm saying that
you're using it as a blanket word, just feminists.
And I was personally, when you have celebrities who decide to take on feminism and make themselves the voice of feminism, you have to understand that those are your political leaders. In the same way that people won't be conservative because of David Cameron, or they won't be Labour because of Jeremy Corbyn, when Lena Dunham and Emily Blunt come onto the stage and they say, we're feminism, this is what it means, and you have big conferences, no platforming people, it makes it impossible for other
but we also have big conferences where we put sexual violence right at the front of the agenda and have done for years.
As a cool evening settles over India, the lights shine bright on a crisp New York night.
Weather now, and most places will be having a fine end to the evening, but rain will linger near northeastern coasts, and there'll be the odd shower for Northern Ireland, the Republic and the far west of Britain. Rain in the northeast will become confined to Shetland.